Cafe here I used to actually play No!
We can't hear you, Wani. We hear the music, but not you.
Wani, the mic.
The mic! Oh yeah.
She is pretty though.
Yeah.
Oh no, Wani. Can you? I don't know.
Alright, what color would you want? Oh wait. No wait. You know what, I'll just keep waving.
I thought I'd give you 2 red points, like across.
Oh! Yeah!
Yeah.
Okay. Oops.
You guys don't tell me.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello everyone. I'm sorry. It seems like the scuff event comes on the OffKai panel.
The end scope is everywhere.
Anyway, I will introduce myself. I'm Wani. I'm a freelance artist and a VTuber, as you can see, and I draw for a living. Here on this panel, I will teach you how to plan and cut a model. It's said that I have to teach you how to draw, but with only 1 hour, I cannot teach you all the bases and the fundamentals of drawing. So I will explain you mainly how to plan and cut, and it will teach you for artists how to do it, and for people who are not artists, what is the workload behind a model. I hope you will find this panel interesting, and let's go, let's start it. So, at first, we have to understand the workload of a design. So, imagine you drew your design, or you get your design from a commission or a friend or whatever. And now you are thinking of what would be the workload of this design. I got you 3 examples of different workload on this design. So the first one is Nurture, a soon to be drew model. This is the simplest design to do as a live 2D. Let me explain. So, for example, this model has clothing really close to the body. So, in fact, you wouldn't have to draw a lot of layers for it, and also that would be really more easier for your rigger, or if you plan of rigging it yourself, well, that's easier. Also, the pose is completely symmetrical, so you will get only to draw this part of the model. The only tricky things here are maybe the rib cage, if you don't know how the skeleton works. Well, I guess that would be a bit hard for you, but I'm assuming that you can draw a skeleton. Anyway, yeah, so this is the simplest design for a live 2D model. It seems to be a bit complex because of the patterns, but in fact, it is not. Well, let's start with Kanade. Kanade is mid-tier in terms of complexity, as breaking down as a VTuber model, because she won't get any toggles, but she has a lot of layers of clothing. As you can see, she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and with the ribbons, we have 8 and 9 layers at least. So, but since there isn't any toggle, like you cannot toggle off the back cape, you cannot toggle off what's up there. You won't have to fill the void on there, so but will be a mid-tier complexity in terms of design. Also, long hair is always complex, so please mind this if you are planning on having a VTuber model that has long hair. And for the last one, Velcro. That doesn't seem like she's the most complex to work with, but in fact she is, because wings and the hair is made of feathers. So each of them had to be drew separately, and that was honestly okay. Also, she has 2 outfits and such, so yeah, in terms of complexity, this one is the simplest, this one is mid-tier, and this one is high-tier. If I had to break down the number of layers I had to do for the 3 of them, this one will have like 300 or 400 layers, this one has 500 layers, and this one has 900 layers. Yeah, 900. That was a nightmare. Anyway. Okay, so now I will tell you on which software you would have to draw your VTuber model. You have software, the usual one like Clips to the Paint, Paint to Side, Photoshop, or whatever of your choice. I think the most important must be that it would be easier if it had innate symmetry tool. I will explain it on the over panel, but I will get to a point. Minecraft and model file will have tons of layers and will be heavy. A model file with all the layers merged will be like 200 megabytes. So mind of your computer capacity when you are starting to draw a model. And also the recommended size is this size, because you will see, like my model, most of the time only the bust or the half body, and with this size of pixels, you will have a perfect ratio for 4K monitors, because 8K is not nowhere soon, and I hope it's not, because that would be a pain to draw even bigger than that. So make sure also, I told you about the symmetry ruler, make sure that the model is completely placed on the middle, you have to pay attention to that. And also, I told you beforehand that the symmetrical model will be quicker to rig. Anyway, this is, I'm using Clips to Paint for drawing. Most of the time it's okay. I just had one occurrence where my model file was corrupted, unfortunately. Anyway, you have to pay attention to that as well. Okay, so let's get to the next panel. Also, before starting anywhere else, you have to know that it's really important to be organized when you're drawing a VTuber model. In fact, naming the layers is one of the most important facts, because the rigger will completely hate you if you didn't name your layers right. This is my experience, because I messed up on my very first model. Not my very first, but my very first personal model. Since I'm working with a rigger really close to mine, I didn't pay attention to that, and the rigger really had a hard time reading it because the art just were really messy, and yeah, so first. Okay, for naming the layers, don't put any space. Please use this type of naming, because if you put space on the layer file, it will be okay for you, but when it's imported in Live 2D, the layer will be named, or space I, for example, for you. But for a rigger, it would be renamed art mesh, and it would be multiplied by the number of layers that you messed up naming, like art mesh 1, art mesh 2, art mesh 3, and that would make lose of your time like a lot. So if you are mindful about that first, it'd be definitely easier for the rigger or for you if you plan on rigging it yourself. Okay, a lot of layers, there is a lot of layers in the model as I told before, so good naming equals good organization. Don't hesitate to use subfolders to organize your files, because it would be definitely easier for you to find where are the elements placed, and for a rigger where are the elements placed as well. So yeah, and also, last thing, I should have told you beforehand, but this is right side and this is left side. We are using the right side of the model, not the screen, and the left side of the model on the screen. It's like that in Lab 2D, so we can use to do that. Last thing, please mind before doing a lot of effects on your model, but there are 3 types of layers that are compatible with Live 2D. There is normal, multiply, and additive. Additive looks more like agglo in Clip Studio Paint, so please mind that while drawing. I will introduce now how to separate the things. While not the most complex for Live 2D, my style is complex. Painter's style gets more difficult to separate rather than simple style like cell shading, like the animation stuff, because it has flat colors and flat colors. Yeah, you don't have to paint a lot under it. So, we will focus on the upper part of the body when I'm explaining the separations, because most of the time you will see the upper part or the best part of your model. And also, once you understand how to separate the layers, the logic, it's applying almost everywhere when you're drawing. So, for the eye, for example, on Twitter, we love eyes physics, especially jiggly. So, if you want to replicate it, you must separate the layers into multiple ones. It's up to the artist's A-style animation you want inside. But for mine, for example, I got to separate it like that. This is for the top part and the bottom part of the eyes. That will be the normal thing with the flat colors, eyelid, eyelashes, with each eyelashes split it in its individual layers. How do you say? The eyelid shadow, the brow. It's looking like that when it's merged, and it's kind of the same there, the same logic. Inside we have the white, which would have to be big, and the edge shadow that are separated, so you can have more depth through the model. Okay. Let me show you the jiggly eye physics I got with it. Are you saying it? my rigger isn't the most, how do you say, fancy one with eye physics, but I know we can get really fancy with eye physics, like bouncy everywhere. So you might like that in your model. So I think it's important to separate it in multiple layers, and also separating it in multiple layers will give you more freedom and your rigger more freedom to play with the layers. Let's get to the scary part. If it's not scary now, the mouth. So, please mind that most of the time the mouth won't get separated like that. I'm doing it like this because I really like when you are seeing the depth inside the mouth. Let me show you again. If you're seeing that, you can see my back teeth inside my mouth. I also can toggle my tongue out. And so this is how I'm separating the stuff to get this fancy effect. So let me explain what are the different parts of the mouth. Oh no, I'm sorry. Come back. Anyway, so those parts are for covering all the inside stuff like this. This layer is there, this one is there, and those one are there. Those one are enabled so we can have a potty mouth. This isn't included in my model, but this is something that people really like, so I'm doing it then by default. But you can skip this part if you want. You really only need the center part of the mouth separating. Here are the mouth gun. If you're watching yourself in a glass, in one glass, you have those guns, and you have the teeth inside of the tongue and outside of the tongue painted. So we can have this effect. This is the inside part of the mouth. This. Some people like to draw what's the anatomical stuff inside. I don't know what's called in English, I'm sorry, but because I'm coming from an elusive country that is named France. Anyway, and here we have to separate those teeth in more parts because normally you would get to see the mouth like this. When you're watching yourself in the new world, you will see it. So this is why I have separated the stuff like that, so you can, as a reader, or if you plan to then do a model to a reader, they can play with that and give this nice depth effect on the mouth. And we have two lines, one line for the upper part of the mouth and one line for the bottom part of the mouth when you're opening it. And we have a lipstick, so we can have a lipstick in 3D, whatever, or with the shiny moving depending on the light where your model is facing. Yeah, it seems to be complex, but once you get the logic behind it, it's pretty simple. Because every mouth are the same, except if you're planning on drawing animal. I guess it's kind of the same, but not really the same. I never tried it. That would be interesting, I guess. For the mouth part, I think I have finished. Let's get to the face. Oh no, I forgot to tell something. You only need this part to make expressions. I saw a lot of beginner model artists drawing the expression on their model and putting them in the file. You don't need to do that. You can draw them as a reference guide for your rigger, but it's not necessary. It's more like a visual guide because you only need this part play with all the expressions. Yeah, that was really important. I have to tell you. Okay, let's get to the face. I hope you're following me so far. I know this is a lot of information to take at once, but this is mostly all the same thing. It's just I will explain you the specifics of the face part. It's the most important part of the model. So I have a first advice to tell you. It's best to not shade the base face at all, because it's easier to work with. If you have a painterly style, try to separate the shadows, like putting another shadow, another layer with a shadow on the face. So the rigger, or you as a rigger, will get to put this nice 3D effect when the head is turning. But most of the time we have a scalp. The scalp will help with your model not being bald, the balding spots. Because all VTuber models wear a wig, and this is information really important. You have the ears, which are mostly draw inside on only one layer. You don't need to draw multiple layers for elf or human ears. It's a different occurrence for animal ears. But, yeah. And while it's not necessary, I have separated the line art from the base face, because now since rigging has evolved, most of the riggers prefer to have the line separated from the face, but you can totally merge them. It's not an issue. And this shadow part that you have no idea what it is, I didn't have any idea what it was, because I started to draw this ring face shadow only recently, maybe on January. And it's on the model. When I'm turning, you are seeing the soft board on my face. This is what it does. And also when I'm raising my head, the line completely disappears, so we can get a more free feel, a more natural effect. Yeah. Also, the neck should be long, really long. If it's not long enough, when I'm raising my head, maybe your head will get just split in two. I don't think you want to be beheaded, except if you are a cool Dulahan VTuber. And for the nose, it's up to you, actually. It's up to you. Oops. I'm separating the nose like that with a straight line, a small dot, a bit of shadow and a bit of highlight, but there's no particular way to do your nose. Maybe try to separate everything like I did, like if you draw the nostrils, try to separate the nostrils in another layer. If you do a realistic nose, it may be a bit trickier to rig, but it's definitely possible. Nose styles are not every styles are worthy of being like 2D model. Most of the time we'll see anime manga, but realistic and semi-realistic works as well. So after this part, we will get to the hair separation. I will demonstrate in this part a bit how to draw your layers, how to think about the separation, because it's a bit more tricky on this part. The hair is definitely one of the most difficult parts of Live 2D, because most of the time you just think of what it's looking like in front, but you're seeing all the hair roots separated as multiple layers, because if you only have one big chunk of layer, especially if you have a painterly style, it will get super strange. you will have a face completely separated from the hair. And as an occurrence, I didn't even do enough layers for the hair roots because my rigger had to copy and paste some layers to do the back of my head. And I'm lowering. Are you seeing all the layers, but separate layers? Maybe you could try to imagine what layer is placed. Where on my model? Okay, enough. So for the crown, I have separated it in all the branches, different layers. But in fact, this may be not necessary. It's just I like separating stuff. Anyway, also for the hair shadow, please don't draw it on the face. Don't draw it on the face. I did this mistake for my very first model, and I had to edit it. So please do separate hair shadow. You don't need to be crazy with that because it's only the big chunk of fringe or whatever that is covering your face that needs to be drawn. You always put them in multiply mode. Yeah, always in multiply mode. And for the back hair, this is also a very important part. You have to separate the back hair stuff and multiple layers as well to get the depth when you are turning your head. If it's just one big chunk of hair, as I told before for the hair roots, it's definitely the same. You don't get any depth because of that. So I will explain you with this. So I drew this as a reference for my riggers, so they could help themselves with my face angle style. It's just a reference. They don't have to follow that. But okay, I will switch to Ink Studio. Where is it? Me. So, for instance, you have this face. You're drawing this face as your VTuber model, for example. Nice. You have this nice hairstyle, but in fact, when she's turning the head, you get this part to be shown, but you don't see it. You don't see it there. Like, it's completely flat, it's almost flat there. So what we have to do, as separating the stuff, we have a layer there, for example. We have our first layer. Let's get second layer. Okay, I think that's fine. And both of the layers are overlapping. Why are they overlapping? It's because when the rigger will turn the head, for example, they will like deform, which is looking like to grab or liquefy, okay? And huge. And here we go. They are deforming like as they want. It's very wonky there, but this is kind of what the riggers are doing when they are using your layers, you know? So let me show you how to do this part, which is the trickiest one. Okay, so there should be a layer there, because we have the hair roots. So hair root 1, hair root 2, hair root 3, and hair root 4. That should be enough. After you get to do your hair roots, you have to do the side hair. The side hair. Side hair, you get maybe one strand of hair there. It's looking kind of nice. And this is the front part you will get to see. And to get the nice effect of depth, just draw on over one just behind it. Okay? And you can draw it bigger. Maybe not that big. Yeah, bigger like that. And with that, you can replicate this effect. Hair and hair. Nice! Are you picturing that? So just continue drawing the layers until it's done. Like this, you have back and have a nice gray hair there. Okay, and here we go. Isn't that great? You see how it's created? In fact, so if you get that with fonts, it will look like that. So you are not seeing it. You're not saying anything of what we just done. But when she's turning the head, you will get to see all of it. I hope it makes sense. Let's get back to the presentation, shall we? Okay, let's get now to the clothing separation. Yay! Clothing separation. Well, if you have listened well to everything I told before, it gets exactly the same logic as all the parts. What you have to pay more attention in the clothing separation is the back stuff. Like on the sleeve, you're just drawing the front of the sleeve and you're like, oh, I'm done. But when your model is raising the arm, you will get to see the inside of the cup, right? Right? So you have to draw what's behind it. You have to imagine what's the depth of the model, what's the depth of the part you have to draw. Most of the layers there are unfortunately really close to the body, so I cannot really show you how it's working. But maybe I will show you an Eclipse video once again. It makes more sense. So you're drawing your sleeve first. Nice. Cool, you have a sleeve. But when the model is raising the arm, for example, yes, with the weight of the clothing, it would be naturally bended like this. But since we have the hand there, for example, oh, nice. A nice looking hand. Wow. Anyway. you have to draw what's behind it. You don't need to make it very big. You just need to make a small part to fill the void. But with that, you can have the depth. It's a pretty simple thing. Pretty simple to think about it, but as models are unique from each other, well, there is a small thinking process in every model. We'll get back to it. I won't extend myself too much on the clothing, but if you follow everything before, yeah, that should make sense. Time is fleeting. Let's get to the other part. So there is also something that people may not be aware of. Is should I draw a nude model? Should I draw a nude model before putting clothing on it? Should I? I'm recommending you to do so. Why? Well, I have a clear example. My very first VTuber model I drew as a commission was VTuber Chiro Sato. He was only a hot body, and I did him in January 2021. I didn't draw what was inside. When the client came back to me to have some upgrades, oh gosh, that was a nightmare. The proportions were off. I had to redraw a lot of the parts, and also, well, that was only a thing on my side, but I had to update the style as well. So it was almost a complete new model. So this is why I'm recommending you to draw a new model inside. And also, if you're drawing a new model, it's really easier for both you and the rigger to upgrade your stuff. Think about a more future-proof stuff. So you can get outfits that are rigged, because some of the deformers in Live 2D can be copied and pasted if, for example, you have a swimsuit model. If you already have a the body inside, you don't get to do a lot of things. But if you just wanted to upgrade it from a void model, well, you have some occurrence where, for example, the chest parts is drew in three different ways, the same chest, because it didn't have a new model inside. And I think you'd want to ease the pain of redrawing over and over the anatomy what's inside you. Well, if you like it, that's okay, but it takes time, you know, it takes time. Yeah, so try to plan beforehand if you ever want to upgrade. If you never want to upgrade, it's fine to do the later, because it's less time consuming to do a model that is only based on the clothing instead of having a nude model inside. And also, nude models are a bit tricky to upgrade. But unfortunately, I don't think I will have time to explain it on this panel, but I would love to answer to your question afterward, or maybe do another tutorial on that. Anyway, and after getting to all these parts, what's to care when you're finished? You have your clothing, you have your face, oh wow, you're beautiful now. And now you just want to rig it, or you want to send the model to a rigger. First, take at least 1 or 2 days to clear your layers. This is what I'm doing most of the time, because the more the model will be clean and checked, the less you will have back and forth between you and the rigger. And this is a really important part. Because communicating with your rigger, or with them, takes time, and going back and forth between the two software is really pain. You want to ease the pain of drawing a Live 2D model. And the second, look out for dirty pixels. I have did this whatever graphic design is my passion thing, and I don't think it's clear that if you notice, you have, for example, a feather here. This is my layer, but while you were drawing, you haven't paid attention to that, and oh, there were a pixel there, a small tiny pixel. Well, it's cute, it's there. Sometimes it looks like a dirty spot on your screen and you try to erase it, but it's more than that. It's also a pain for readers. Really important to tell. I saw on Twitter some riggers complaining about that stuff, so I thought it was interesting to point it out. When they are inputting automatic art meshes, for example, art meshes, as we explained, is this. They put this is a mesh, and with the mesh they can deform it, and if there is a dirty pixel, the art mesh will go like this, instead of being like that. So if you just delete the unwanted pixel, you will get a proper art mesh. It's fine if it's only one or two in the whole model, because some models have 1,000 of layers, but if it's systematic, well, please check your family. Other thing to care about is to make sure that your layers are properly merged. You don't want a line and a color separated as layers. You have to merge them, except from the face maybe, but all of them have to be merged, as I show you in this. Well, in my occurrence, I don't do any line art, so it doesn't concern me. But I know a lot of artists are doing line art, which is why I really recommend to as a game to take at least 1 or 2 days to review your layers. And last point, over separation is better than not enough. And I'm saying it as someone does more layers than necessary, but it seems like readers and they like them, so I guess this is the correct thing to do. Because think about it, if there is just a huge chunk of torso there, that would be a shame that you wouldn't get to have the jiggy loop physics. It would be just a cardboard. You don't want to be a cardboard, right? So separate everything. Won't make you look like a cardboard. The proper thinking is, if you think it's something that will move, separate it. Like for this part, I have separated all the beads in a different layer, but the rigger and I ended saying that it would be pasted to my color there, and so that won't get to be moved. But it's important if you ever wanted to make them jiggle, for example. Because if you are over-separating, I mean proper over-separation, not this, not this. Well, it's easier to merge them rather than re-separate and redraw all the things. That would be a hassle, and also I hate reviewing my older models because I cringe so hard at my older drawings. So it's better to over-separate because you won't get to see your drawings of before. Anyway, I think we are done. Wada, you are finished with your model. Nice. It's just a quick overlook on the Live2D model. It's definitely if I had to talk about it in depth, that will take definitely more than 45 minutes. So this is why I have reserved the last 15 minutes for Q&A. I invite you to go to the Discord of OffKai to ask all the questions you want to ask me, and I will try my best to answer them. Okay, we're getting back to the super nice hands. Okay, I will open this panel, click as an explanation. What's your favorite thing part to draw and why? My favorite thing to draw might be I don't know, the body and the face, because I just love rendering skin. Rendering skin is one of my favorite parts of modeling. So yeah, it's only that. Can you give a quick rundown of layers for animal ears? Yeah, sure. Let me show you. So, imagine you have your face here. What's better, what's even better is as we are drawing an actual model. You have the face, it's a bit long. Okay, you have the face, it's very orange. But that doesn't matter because it's whatever. Okay, so we have organs out there. Okay, and let's get to the ears. For example, the cat ears. Cat ears are the most common because people just love cat ears, and I like cat ears as well. Okay, we have the front part. Part of the ear. And think about it. Think about the depth, as I told you. You would get to have the inner part of the ears. Okay, so you have the back layer and the front layer. Nice. This is looking nice, but there is something missing. The fluff, because we love fluffy ears. Okay, we have a fluff. So we have 3 layers. You could get away with that. It's definitely more than enough. But if you want to be a bit more detailed about it, you could decorate the layers in the fewer multiple parts. So you can get a nice big bedding with the fur. So most of the time, the hair will cover this part, so it's a bit easier for the reader to work with the ears. I hope it makes sense. Okay. When commissioning, what's your recommendation for reaching out to an artist if you have an idea ready or don't have an idea and want the artist to design it? Okay, this is something I'm really familiar with it because a lot of clients contact me without having a design. Most of the time when the clients are reaching out to an artist, and you have an idea ready, they will always send me a Google Doc thing with the personality wanted of their model and a kind of mood board and some elements they really want to have on their models. So, as I'm a character designer as well, I can work with only that. Most of the time, I will draw them a sketch, and we will rewrite the sketch as many times as much time as the client is satisfied. So yeah, most of the time you just have to have a good communication with your artist. That would be fine. By the way, the top part of the inside of the mouth is called the palate. Thank you. I will sleep less dumb tonight. What's the most complex commission you've done? Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh. Oh. Okay, I will show you a picture. This one. I'm usually spending 2 weeks to draw a model. This one took a whole month because of the 2 sets of wings plus the hair. Yeah. And each feather there is separated. Each one. I think I drew more than 300 feathers, or maybe more. That was fun and painful at the same time, but this is what we are. We are always in this state as model artists. Wani, what's your favorite dessert? It's a bit hard for me to answer that. Well, I could just tell you cake, maybe with fruits and cream. I like that. How would you like people commission you or other artists to break down a model by desire and some idea? I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question. Might be not able to hear us, but all of us in the audience clapped and cheered when you showed your most complex commission. Oh, thank you, everyone! Yeah, I'm pretty proud of this model because there is all the complex details I did. One of my one of my questions is, what is the best way to check for extra pixels? Do you put a layer over a white background or a background of contrasting colors? My way to check for dirty pixels may not be the best one, but for example, I will rephrase this stuff. Oh, no. I'm struggling. Oh, we have 30 pixels there. What I'm doing when I'm checking the file is I'm inputting Control T in each layer. And if I'm saying that the transformation tool is further than it should usually be, then I just check and delete this part. Okay, I deleted them. And there, it's only on the layer that it's supposed to be. This is how I'm checking my files. What's the most painful part to draw in general? I think that must be the hair. The hair. It's the most painful part for me because it's pretty repetitive. Draw all the hair parts. So this is why I'm enjoying the final result. I definitely don't enjoy drawing it, in fact. And yeah, this is knowing the cause because I did long ass hair for my model and I wonder why I did that. What was the inspiration behind your model? Okay. My inspiration behind my model was kind of the things I'm liking. And my origins. I got really inspired by the Khmer culture. Because those are my origins, and I'm living in the elusive country that is called France. So yeah, if you're noticing that those are typical Cambodian patterns, as it's the geometrical patterns as well. Also, I like dragons and I like chickens. So I just miss everything because I miss so much. Also, I like birds a lot, a whole lot, which is why I have wings, and which is why I have a lot of children that have wings. They know I have wings, so they commission me to draw wings as well. Powered Teams commission? Be sure, Joanne, be sure. I just enjoy drawing characters. Those are completely my comfort zone, and I really enjoy designing stuff. Designing stuff is one of the things I like the most. Because before drawing VTuber model, I was doing illustration and character design. Because I got to the market very late, in fact, in January of 2021. In 2021, I only got to draw 2 VTuber models because I didn't even start streaming. And so now we are 2022. I have like 5 or 6 models to draw. Most of my clients are noticing me on Twitch and they are seeing my model and they're like, oh, I want a model, and so they commission me. But all birds are dinosaurs, but not all dinosaurs are birds. I agree. But this is a fact. How do you treat patterns in clothing? Should you separate them from the main clothing part? No, you don't have to separate the patterns from the clothing part, except if you want to make fancy effects like nice Paris sky. Like you have sewn some of them on these over models. It's really pretty, and if you want to make an animation like that, you have to separate everything. But for the patterns, no, you can just merge them with the main clothing parts. It doesn't matter. Can you show us all your current? Okay, last question. Yes, we need to wrap it up. My children. I will show you on the Discord. I can show you on the screen. I'm sorry, but I will link you the Twitch channels. Most of them haven't debuted yet, so you won't get to see their model. But I have work on it. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for coming to my panel. It was really fun. A super nice OffKai, please check the other creators from the OffKai. They are all super bloggers, and artists, and VTubers, and whatever. So anyway, thank you very much everyone for being interested in my panel, and bye bye!